Virginia's gun ban challenged in the courts, Minnesota legislators release a fraud report, and America's talking. This is the Center Square Daily for Friday, May 15th, 2026. I'm your host, Greg Bishop. Beginning July 1st, the sale and manufacture of certain types of semi-automatic firearms will be illegal, as will the sale of magazines capable of loading 15 rounds. That's after Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger signed House Bill 217 and Senate Bill 749 Thursday. The Second Amendment Foundation immediately filed a lawsuit challenging that ban. Now, in a statement announcing the bill being signed, Spanberger said she signed it because, quote, firearms designed to inflict maximum casualties do not belong on our streets. Now, her move comes as the U.S. Supreme Court considers whether or not they'll take certain types of challenges to bans from other states. Now, in response to Virginia's ban being signed, Second Amendment Foundation Executive Director Adam Kraut said, the firearms and magazines banned in the Virginia law are not bizarre and unusual outliers. They're among the most commonly owned guns and magazines in the country. He went on to say they're owned in the tens of millions by peaceable Americans who use them overwhelmingly lawfully. He further said Virginia has now joined the minority of radical states to ban these constitutionally protected firearms, and in doing so, joined the club of states that the Second Amendment Foundation says they're suing over. SAF is joined in their lawsuits, McDonald versus Katz, by the National Rifle Association, Firearms Policy Coalition, and two private citizens. Now, Virginia becomes the 12th state or jurisdiction in the country to have such a ban. The fourth state to do so since Illinois passed a ban in 2023. A challenge to Illinois' law remains in the federal courts. Here's a list of the states that have banned semi-automatic firearms. California, way back in 1989, Connecticut in 93, Delaware recently in 2022, Hawaii back in 1992, but Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, Washington, and also Washington, D.C. Now, Rhode Island has a ban that goes into effect July 1st after being enacted last year, and Colorado has a ban going into effect August 1st after being enacted last year. Now, while the Virginia General Assembly chose not to adopt Spanberger's amendments, she said specifically carves out certain firearms frequently used for hunting. She did say she'll work with legislators to clarify that language. Now, another bill that she signed in Virginia Thursday is House Bill 229 and Senate Bill 173. The bills prohibit individuals from bringing firearms into hospitals and other healthcare facilities that provide psychiatric care. Virginia not the only states with other types of gun control measures working their way through the state houses. In Colorado, House Bill 1144, or the Prohibit Three-Dimensional Printing Firearms and Components Law, was signed by Governor Jared Polis after passing along party lines in the legislature there. Starting July, amateur 3D printing of guns or certain parts of a firearm will be banned, with first-time violations a misdemeanor and repeat offenses a felony. Also in Colorado, Senate Bill 43, it would have required gun barrels to be purchased in person at federally licensed arms dealers. Now, that faced wide opposition from gun rights advocates, and ultimately, that bill failed to be brought up in the House. In Illinois, state lawmakers looking to ban Illinoisans from carrying firearms while at the polls, citing a rise in political violence around elections. Gun rights advocates taking issue with that proposal, claiming the ban would be unconstitutionally prohibiting firearms in some private residences. House Bill 34 would ban the ability to carry a firearm in any building, property, or parking area of a polling location in Illinois, creating a 24th restriction on open carry laws in the state. Now, while state police officers would be exempt in Illinois, any other person discovered to be carrying a firearm at a polling place would be found guilty of a misdemeanor. Now, that bill, along with a proposed ban on handguns that would be defined as easily convertible from semi-auto to full auto, could come up before the end of scheduled session May 31st in Illinois. An Ohio legislator wants to impose criminal penalties on gun owners who fail to secure firearms, and the weapons are used by children who hurt themselves or another person. And the sponsor of that bill said that it's not a safe storage mandate to keep guns locked up. In Minnesota Thursday, a post from State Representative Drew Roach on X with a video attached showed that, quote, when House Democrats didn't get the vote they wanted in Minnesota on the most extreme gun-grabbing bill in the country, according to this representative, HF 5140, one of their own, he said, Representative Aisha Gomez, actually told Republican State Representative Elliot Engin to, and I'll paraphrase here, commit self-harm. Brewer said, this isn't debate, this isn't passion, this is deranged, toxic, and downright dangerous behavior from the same people, he said, who want to strip law-abiding Minnesotans of their constitutional rights. Now, these are, of course, among the various types of proposals that are being floated or approved across the country in state houses, and a lot of these facing challenges in the courts as they're being prepared. But as you see from the dockets for the U.S. Supreme Court, there's only 2 cases impacting the Second Amendment up for consideration. Wolford v. Lopez, about whether Hawaii's law making it a crime for a licensed concealed carry permit holder to bring a handgun onto private property open to the public, such as stores or restaurants, without the property's express authorization, that's being challenged as a violation of the Second Amendment. Now, that case was heard January 20th, and decision in that case is pending. Another Second Amendment case the U.S. Supreme Court has also already heard is United States versus Hamani, about whether the federal ban on firearm possession by anyone who is an unlawful user or addicted to any controlled substance violates the Second Amendment, as applied to the respondent who is a marijuana user. Now, those oral arguments were held March 2nd, and a decision is pending. Now, numerous other petitions raising Second Amendment issues, like challenges to other states' ban on certain types of semi-automatic firearms and capacities of certain types of magazines, also regulations about 18 to 20-year-old adults and whether they can purchase certain types of firearms, and a variety of other challenges, including sensitive place challenges, remain in the pipeline, have been relisted for conference, for possible consideration, or have been straight up denied. So we are waiting to see what happens with the U.S. Supreme Court on what kinds of Second Amendment decisions they'll make. They are in their conference today, this Friday, and we'll see what they push out coming up Monday when they release their orders lists. You'll be able to follow that along with all of us at thecentersquare.com.